In the heart of Mumbai, amidst the towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, lived a young man named Kabir. He was not a businessman, nor was he born into wealth. But he had something far more valuable, an unshakable dream. Kabir wanted to be a chef, not just any chef, but the kind who would one day own a restaurant that people from all over would visit. He worked as an assistant in a high-end restaurant, spending long hours chopping vegetables, washing dishes, and observing the head chef's every move. While others saw him as just another worker in the kitchen, Kabir saw himself as a student, learning, improving, and preparing for the day he could step out on his own. For years, he saved every rupee, cutting down on personal expenses, sacrificing outings, and working overtime. He rented a tiny apartment and filled it with his recipes, his notes, and his dreams. Finally, after years of hard work, he had saved enough to open a small eatery. Excitement pulsed through his veins as he made his plans, picked out a location, and imagined his dream becoming reality. But fate had other plans. One night, as he lay in bed exhausted, a fire broke out in his apartment due to a short circuit. By the time the fire was put out, everything was gone, his savings, his documents, even his cherished recipes, all reduced to ash. He stood in front of the burnt remains of his dreams, his heart sinking deeper than ever before. For days, Kabir couldn't bring himself to get out of bed. Maybe this is a sign, he thought. Maybe I was never meant to succeed. His friends tried to encourage him, but their words felt hollow. He was lost, empty, and drowning in despair. Then, one evening, as he wandered aimlessly through the city streets, he noticed a small food cart. An old man, frail yet determined, was making vada pav, Mumbai's famous street snack. His hands trembled with age, but there was a passion in his movements. People stood in line, waiting patiently for their turn. Curious, Kabir approached the cart. The old man smiled and handed him a vada pav. "Food isn't just about taste, son," he said, sensing Kabir's troubled expression. "It's about patience, resilience, and love. No matter how many times life burns you down, you have to keep cooking." Something about those words struck a chord deep within Kabir. He realized he had lost everything except the most important thing, his passion. His knowledge, his experience, and his love for food were still inside him. The fire had destroyed his savings, but not his skills. The very next morning, he took a small loan and bought a second-hand food cart. With just a handful of ingredients and 2 of his best recipes, he set up his stall on a street corner. The first few days were tough. Many people ignored his cart, some even mocked him. But Kabir didn't give up. He greeted every customer with a warm smile and served his food with the same love he had always dreamed of putting into his restaurant. Word began to spread. His food wasn't just delicious, it had heart. People came back for more, bringing friends and family. Within months, his humble food cart became a favorite spot for locals. With the money he earned, he expanded, bought better equipment, and eventually rented a small space to turn his cart into a restaurant. Years passed, and Kabir's restaurant grew into one of the most popular eateries in Mumbai. People no longer saw him as just a roadside vendor, they saw him as an inspiration. Newspapers wrote about him, food critics praised him, and customers admired not just his cooking, but his journey. One day, the same old man who had inspired him visited the restaurant. Kabir recognized him instantly and personally served him a plate of his best dish. "I never got the chance to thank you," he said. "You saved my dream." The old man chuckled and patted his shoulder. "No, son. You saved it yourself." Kabir had learned the most valuable lesson of all: failure is never the end. It is just a lesson, a redirection, a test of how badly you want your dreams. No matter how many times life knocks you down, if you have the courage to rise again, you will always find a way forward. Because true success isn't about never falling, it's about rising, every single time. And Kabir? He rose from the ashes and became more than just a chef. He became a legend.